Okay, so now that we can finish our first section up here, right? We finally received our coffee mugs, right? We received our inventory item. We updated our inventory worksheet. So let's go ahead and continue here. So what do we have here? Hello, anybody?
The purchase order,
Purchase order.
the Atlas coffee
Mm-hmm.
order,
Mm-hmm.
125 pounds of regular coffee at
Mm-hmm.
135 per pound,
Mm-hmm.
equal to 168.75, and 120 and 125 pounds of extreme coffee at 155 per pound.
Okay.
Total cost for both is 362 per stick.
Good. So, what do we do with this transaction here?
Nothing so far because we have not received any invoice or purchase order, those kinds of things. This is just basically an order.
Yes. So you do need to update it at least in your purchase orders list so that we
Oh,
know that when we sent out our purchase order that we need to make sure that we keep track of it and make sure that we actually receive the items. So in this case, you don't need to record this in your journal, but you should definitely record this in your um,
purchase order.
purchase orders. Okay, so June 10, we made a purchase order. Okay, who's the vendor?
Atlas?
Yes, Atlas Coffee Import. I'm just going to put IMP for short. Okay, what did we buy? 250 pounds coffee. All right, and the total amount is going to be for $362.50. All right. What else has happened next?
Invoice?
We received.
We received an invoice of 351 for the coffee brewer and the grinder.
Good. Okay.
And based on the invoice, we got the term of 115 net 30, and the total was shipped on the 10th,
Mm-hmm.
and a total due because there was a down payment, so the subtract the down payment, so the total due is 2634.15 for the two items, coffee brewer and
Perfect.
grinder.
Good. So, what happened here? How did it happen? And what did we buy?
A brewer and grinder.
We bought a brewer and a grinder, right? So let's go ahead and look in your chart of accounts for that brewer and grinder.
Brewer.
Say that again.
No, I'm looking
Oh,
for it.
you're looking for it. Okay.
I'm sorry. The brewer, coffee brewer is COH, chart of account 15010.
One. Okay, good.
And then what's the other one? Grinder is 15020.
Okay. So we have all those. Good. What else do we need to include as well? We need to include the down payment, and we also need to include how much we owe. Okay. So ignore that. Ignore this. But yes, we received a coffee brewer and a coffee grinder. Now, what else is included in this scenario? What else do we have here that is saying that we need to be aware of?
We made a down payment.
We made a down payment. Good. Okay, what else is also going to be? Let's continue reading. What is this? What does it say down here?
Additional work needs to be done before grinder is put in service.
Okay.
Foundation needs to be reinforced
Mm-hmm.
and electrical needs to be upgraded.
Okay. So what I'm going to do here is instead of splitting them off, because right now the grinder is not complete. The grinder is still needs to have work done. So what I'm going to have you guys do is I want you to place it in miscellaneous suspense, and we're going to calculate the grand total between the two when we move it out, when we move the coffee brewer out and the coffee grinder out. So in this case, I want you to shove it all into one account called miscellaneous suspense, because what we're going to do is we need to make sure that we calculate the grand total of the coffee grinder before we can go ahead and separate the coffee brewer. So with that being said, okay, we need to make sure that we're going to place everything into the actual miscellaneous suspense account, right? But before that, we have to do is we need to make sure that we also receive the coffee brewer and coffee grinder, right? So let's go ahead and find that coffee brewer and coffee grinder. So Haley Bros, brewer and grinder. What was the invoice number?
351.
351 is our number here. So I'm going to make sure that I know that I received this item, and it was invoice number 351. Okay. And then now I'm going to go into my journal. So because I bought both of these items at the same time, I'm just going to shove it all into one location first and then separate everything else accordingly. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and place everything into miscellaneous suspense. Okay. I made note that I made a down payment, so I need to take out my prepaid accounts. And I also am going to owe this vendor afterwards. I'm not going to pay them now. I'm going to pay them later. So miscellaneous suspense should be $19,990. Prepaid should be $18,600. And my accounts payable should be $20,000. Okay. So with that being said, here I'm given on the receipt the grand total of how much I owe. All right. But I also have the grand total of what should be there, right? Here I have my down payment is so my grand total is $3,806.02, right? My down payment has decreased that value and made that my accounts payable is going to be for the $2,634.15. So here I know that my down payment should have been $1,171.87, right? My new amount that I'm going to be owing is $26,34.15. Therefore, my grand total that I'm going to be placing into my miscellaneous suspense should be,
3806.02.
yes, should be for the full titled amount that is on my bill. Okay? And since I know who this vendor is, I'm going to go ahead and make sure I write this in here. So Haley Bros. Okay. Invoice number 351 Did they give us any terms?
Yeah.
Okay. 1%,
30, 15, and 30, net 30.
15,
Net 30.
net 30. Okay. Good. Now let's go ahead and go to my ledger account. So here's my ledger, and let's update. So the first thing I have here is miscellaneous expense, okay? So miscellaneous expense is going to be the very last account I have here. June 10. And I'm going to go ahead and right here, I have the brewer slash grinder. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and write general journal number 3. And I'm going to increase it by the grand total of the $3,806.02. Right? 380602. All right? And then if you have your formula, it should say that now your miscellaneous expense should be outstanding for the $3,806.02. Okay? Then we're going to go right up to prepaid accounts, and we're going to deduct that amount for the coffee brewer and grinder. So here I'm going to go ahead and indicate this, and my prepaid accounts here should be for the invoice number 351, okay? General journal number 3. And I'm going to decrease my amount by $1171.87. And by doing so, it should decrease this amount into $6,654.17. Okay? So that is where I am at, is 6654.17. All right? And then now I'm going to also increase my liabilities. So here, I'm going to also indicate the 610. Write that this is from invoice number 351. 351. And this is journal number 3. And I'm increasing the amount I owe by the grand total of $2,634.15. $2,634.15, which should change my total amount that I owe from $9,000 to now $12,000. Now we could go ahead and go to our subsidiary ledger. Yes. Okay, to my subsidiary ledger, I'm going to go to my vendors. Oh, I'm in the wrong one. The inventory. Okay, this should be my subsidiary right here. My vendors. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and find my Haley Bros. Okay, here's my Haley Bros. And because I'm going to be entering a brand new transaction, so on 610, right, I can go ahead and fill in my information here, right? So here, I'm going to go ahead and leave my notes blank for a second. and enter in the other information that I have. So right now, my invoice is $351. Okay. My journal is going to be general journal number 3. Okay. Did I have terms? Yes, I did. It was 1%, 15, comma, net 30. Okay. Meaning that therefore my discount date is going to be
On the 20th, 1%, 620? Oh, wait, 625.
6/25 is correct. So June 25th is going to be my discount period that I pay and I receive the 1% discount. Now, what is my actual due date going to be?
There's 30 days, so that would be July 10th.
July 10. So July 10. Okay. And did I have a prepaid amount?
Yes.
Yes, you did.
71.
Mm-hmm. What was my actual invoice amount totaled to?
Total of 380602.
380602. All right. And I didn't make any payments as of June 10th. So if you were to pull down your formula, it should reflect the actual bill amount of the $2,634.12 or 15 cents. All right. Can we confirm that with our journal and our ledger? Okay.
1171. Yep.
Okay, so good. So back to my ledger. That is how much I owe, and that's my grand total that I owe to Haley Bros, whatever you want to call it. Okay. In the notes, you don't have to really write anything unless you want to be descriptive about it, like such as this was the brewer slash grinder. Okay. But other than that, I am completely done with this transaction right here. Okay, so going back to my journal. Okay. Now, what's the first thing that happened here? Hold on. Okay, so what's the next thing that happened here? Anybody? Okay, no worries.
The freight, it says there the freight evenly distributed to percent to brewer and grinder.
Okay, but what was the where did this invoice come from?
Oh, no, from Haley.
What was that?
Um,
This isn't from Haley, but this is a separate shipping company. Correct.
Value delivery services.
Correct. So that means Haley Bros had a third party contractor to ship these items out to you.
Okay.
And here terms are COD. So we actually had to write a check out in order to receive the items from this Valley Delivery Services because it's COD. What does COD stand for?
On delivery.
Cash on delivery. So by looking at this very invoice right here, that means not only did we have to include this right here, we have tax here, we also have to include the freight. So let's go ahead and journalize this particular information, all right? So where did we put our coffee brewer and a coffee grinder? Where is it right now? It's in miscellaneous suspense. So therefore, we're going to go ahead and place it into miscellaneous suspense because that is where my items are currently at. Okay? What else am I going to write? What else am I going to have to account for? What's my other account that I'm going to be utilizing?
Since it's cash and delivery, you'll have to issue a check.
Good.
Or a check now.
Therefore, yes, we need to write a check in order to retrieve these items from this Valley Delivery Services. Okay? So miscellaneous suspense is going to be for $19,990 and my checking is going to be $10,100. Okay? So now that I have a total amount of freight, my total amount of freight is going to be for $350 even. So $350. Okay? Before I move on forth, what do I need to do first? I need to go to my check register. Okay? And I need to indicate that I wrote a check for $1,511. So $610 for $350. Now, who am I writing this check out to?
Valley delivery.
Valley Delivery Services. Okay. All right, and I'm going to go ahead to my journal and I'm going to complete my journal with my description saying this was from Valley Delivery Services. All right, invoice number 301. And I also wrote a check number 1511. Yes. Okay. For the total of $350. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and update my inventory worksheet. I'm sorry. What am I talking about? I'm going to go ahead and update my ledger account. Okay. So things that I've recognized is I have to go back to the miscellaneous suspense. All right. So that's an asset. So here I am under prepaid accounts. So I'm going to scroll down to miscellaneous suspense. All right. I'm going to go ahead and indicate the date. And then I'm going to go ahead and write here freight for brewer / grinder. Okay. General journal number 3. Can't believe we're still on. Okay, so we'll reach the very bottom. Okay, so we're general journal number 3. We're going to increase it by $350. And that should bring up our total to be the $4,156 even. And and 2 cents. Okay. Because we wrote a check to this, I'm going to go ahead and scroll all the way up here to my checking account, and I'm going to indicate that I wrote a check on June 6th, right? Check number 1511, all right? General journal number 3, And last but not least, I decreased my account by a total of $350, bringing my new grand total to be $5,752.42. Okay. And now let's go ahead and to our subsidiary ledger, because we can't forget about them, right? What if we had a problem with this delivery service? We want to make sure that we keep track of it. So down in my vendors, I'm going to go ahead and locate where my Valley Delivery Services is. So here, Valley Delivery Services, June 10. Okay. Notes here that I paid using a check number 1511. Okay. Invoice was invoice 301. Post reference is general journal number 3. Did I have terms? Yes. It was terms COD, meaning I had cash on delivery. So of course, due date and discount date doesn't count, or you don't need to fill it in. Prepaid amount, obviously nothing. Your invoice amount was a total for $350, and you also paid the total amount of $350, bringing you to $0 that you owe for this invoice. Okay. Now we are completely done with this section of the scenario, this transaction. We're completely done, right? Then what has happened next? What has happened next?
Removing the brewer from miscellaneous expense.
Correct. Therefore, we need to backtrack a little bit because now we need to start doing our calculations. Okay? So because we're moving it from one account to another, what's the assumption? We're acquiring an asset, right? We're doing a coffee brewer. So that means we're going to be leaving the coffee grinder in the miscellaneous expense because it still needs to do installation fees as well as electrical work. So we're just going to leave it in miscellaneous expense until it's properly enough for us to move it completely out. Okay? So in this case, we're going to move the coffee brewer because the coffee brewer is done. All right? And of course, we're moving it out of the miscellaneous expense account. So, what is my account number for the coffee brewer?
$15,010.
15
$15,010.
15010. Okay. What about my miscellaneous expense? I think that was 19,990.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, this is where we need to go ahead and backtrack and actually calculate our grand total for the coffee brewer. So in this case, let's go back up to my original invoice of me receiving the actual item. Okay? So I see here that my item is going to cost me $2,266. I have to apply the 8.25% tax on top of that. And then I need to also include the 50% freight charge for this as well. So my grand total is going to be, all right, so we're going to do calculations here. You can either do it in Excel itself or you can do it on the side, all right? So if I am looking at $2,266, I'm going to multiply it by the 1.0825. And then I'm going to add, what's 350 divided by 2? 175. That means that's how much freight I am going to be encountering or dividing amongst the assets. So in this case, I should get a grand total of $2627.95. Can someone validate that that is correct? So if I had my original asset was $2,266. Hello? Is this okay? So go ahead.
I'm sorry, I'm still calculating, I'm sorry. $267.94. Round at 95. Yeah, correct. 267.945.
Okay. So we took the asset, right? We multiplied it to get the tax amount that's going to be contributed to the item. And then we divided the freight because it was for both items, which right here above here, I've indicated that you're going to divide it in half because the weight of the coffee grinder and the weight of the coffee brewer is technically around roughly the same thing. So we're going to divide the freight expense into half, all right? And what that's going to entail is we got a grand total of the 2627.95 is going to be our grand total of the coffee brewer that we're going to be taking out, and this is going to be the same. So 2627.95 is going to be what we're going to be taking out of the account. Now in this case, I have a question for you. Do we need to go to the subsidiary ledger?
Wouldn't you have to go to the subsidiary ledger to update it?
What do you need to do in the subsidiary ledger?
That's a good question.
Do we have to itemize the delivery charge for, since it is divided into two? So do we have, my question there, probably we have to itemize basically the cost of each item on the delivery charge.
Oh, me. Okay. I mean, I guess that could be part of the notes for the
is the answer
delivery
no?
charge. Sorry, Adina, you cut off. What was that?
I said, so is the answer no?
Yes. No. Yes. Yes to the no.
You said both yes and no, so.
So yes to the no, because this is an internal transaction. We're not dealing with any vendors when it comes to moving from one account to another. This is dealing with our internal company itself. We are making this decision to move from one account to another. So this has nothing to do with any of our vendors, any of our customers or employees. So in this case, you do not need to update your subsidiary ledger for this, but you will need to update your general ledger, of course. That's always number one. Okay, so right here, I'm going to go ahead and complete my journal by saying moving coffee brewer out of accounts. or out of miscellaneous. Okay. All right. Good. All right. And then that completes our journal number 3. All right. So now let's go ahead and update our journal to the ledger. Okay. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. I think this is my ledger. Okay. So first thing that we see here is the coffee brewer. So that's an asset. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll to find where it is. Okay, so here's creamer. It is definitely an equipment. Furniture. I'm almost there. So here is equipment. Here is coffee grinder. Up right above it is coffee brewer. Okay, so here 810. You don't need to really place this anything, but you can indicate this is coffee brewer number 2. General journal number 3. Okay. And we debited the account by 2627.95. All right. So that means we're bringing up a grand total of $4,527.95 worth of coffee brewers. Okay, so 2627.95. All right. And then now we also need to update our last account, which is the miscellaneous expense, because we decided to take out. So right here in my notes, I'm going to write remove coffee brewer. Right? General journal number 3. And how much did we remove it for? We removed $2627.95 worth of in the miscellaneous expense. So therefore, if we were to calculate the grand total, it should be for the $1529.07 remaining left. So that's how much the coffee grinder is right now. Okay? This is the tax and the freight included already is $1528.07. However, we still need to update it with this installment as well as the electrical work on here. So there, we completed our transaction here, and we're ready to move on page number 4. Okay. Any questions in what just happened here?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Not right now.
Okay. So what happened next in the same day? So on June 10, what happened next?
Hired LV Remodeling Company to reinforce foundation for coffee grinder.
So here we know that we're going to have LV Remodeling do the foundation for the coffee grinder. Now, do we need to record this transaction?
No.
No, nothing happened. We just hired them. Okay? So let's go ahead and complete this last transaction here, and then we'll call it a day. So on June 11th, what has happened here?
Received bill from LV Remodeling for $18.90.
Perfect. For remodeling the store. So remember, we hired them in the first place to remodel the store. Now we hire them again for the second job, which is to do the foundation for the grinder. But this one's from the original transaction that, or the original when we hire them to remodel the store. So let's go ahead and look at this. So we received a bill, okay? The invoice is for $17.54, all right? And it's due in 4 days. And the grand total amount is for $18.90. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know that because we hired LV Remodeling, they're technically a third-party vendor that we decided to contract to redesign our store. So I'm going to tell you that this is going to be a subcontractor expense. Okay? So, what account is subtractor expense?
Expense.
All right, what account number does it belong to? Say that again. 60510. Okay. And then again, because we received the bill, we are making the assumption we're not going to pay now, we're going to pay later. So we're going to be utilizing in accounts payable, right? Because we received a bill and we're going to owe this person. Okay. And the amount was for $18.90 even. $18.90. All right. And then I'm also going to fill in the rest of my description saying, well, this happened. Oh, I think I was supposed to skip a line. So let me move those accounts down actually. So subcontractor was for $18.90. This is also $18.90. And there you go. So subcontractor expense, and because we're not paying them now, we're paying them later. Okay, and this was on June 11. Okay, so what I'm going to indicate here is my vendor, which is LV Remodeling Company. And the invoice that we received was number 1754. And when is it due? Yeah, net 4. Okay. Net 4 because it's due in 4 days, so that means the whole thing is due in 4 days, which is net 4. Okay, so let's go ahead and update our ledger. Okay, so we now have a new expense, which is going to be our subcontractor expense. That's actually going to fall under the main category of labor expense. Okay, so right here it is. So June 11, all right. You can write invoice number 1754. Okay, so post reference is general journal number 3. We debited for $18.90. So therefore, because this is our first account, our first entry in this account, therefore our normal balance should be the same, $18.90. All right. And because we placed this on accounts payable, And because we place this on accounts payable, therefore it's a liability, so we're going to increase it. $17.54. And we're going to increase our amount by $18.90, bringing us a grand total of $14,403.39. So right now we are definitely digging ourselves a grave. Okay, now we owe a total of almost $14,403.39. Okay. So with that being said, last thing that we have to do is going to update our subsidiary ledger. So in this case, we're going to go find our LV remodeling. So that should be LV remodeling here. Here you go, LV remodeling. So June 11. We didn't make any payments yet, but I do want to make sure I indicate that this is to remodel the store. Remodel the store. Okay. Invoice number was 1754. Post reference, general journal number 3. Terms is going to be net 4. There, that means we weren't given a discount. However, the due date is going to be the 15th of June. All right. No prepaid amounts. Our invoice is for the full $18.90. We did not make any payments to this LV remodeling. So therefore, my grand total, okay, in my accounts payable should be my invoice amount minus any prepaid, minus any discounts, returns minus discounts, and minus any payments, bringing me to a grand total of $18.90 that I owe this vendor. Okay. Any questions in regards to anything that we came all the way up to? So this is us practicing over and over again, journalizing, ledger, subsidiary ledger if there is one, inventory worksheet if there is one. Okay? And we've also looked at our transaction. Are they enough to journalize or are they not enough to journalize? Okay? So let's go ahead and stop here for today. So that means when we come back, we'll go ahead and utilize that other worksheet I was talking about, which is our payroll worksheet, and enter in this lovely employee that we have added. Yes, that we hired. Okay, so we'll come back and we'll utilize that new worksheet. But other than that, if you guys don't have any other questions, we're just going to continue on and so forth with our lesson. Just continuing on, rinse and repeating every concept that we will learn. So this one is going to be learning about how when we have employees and what we offer them. Other than that, this recording will be up. And yeah, if you don't have any other questions, you guys are free to go.